Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the program this afternoon. We are at 2:01, so I'm going to go ahead and get started and turn it over to Jen, who will be introducing Jessica today.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for coming today. I am so delighted to introduce Jessica Mirowitz of the Mirowitz family. Not only does she come from a wonderful family, but she also comes to us with this incredible background of working in marketing and advertising industry for many companies in the St. Louis community, such as Scottrade, and she's actually with Nestle Purina right now. And at Purina, she helps pet brands like Purina Pro, Dog Chow, Tidy Cats, and Friskies develop digital targeting strategies so that their advertising campaigns reach the right customers. Jessica, I'm proud to say, is a board member, a new board member of the Covenant Place. So we are so grateful and lucky to have her. And we're super delighted and excited to hear about her marketing knowledge today and to have her be a resource to all of us at the Mirowitz Center. So thank you, Jessica.
Thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be with you all today. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share this topic with you all. I will go ahead and share my screen really quick and share my presentation with you. So if you just give me one moment. Okay. Hopefully you all are seeing my presentation.
Looks perfect.
Great. Okay, so again, it's great to be here with you all. This subject matter is really important to me. You know, not only do I work in social media from an advertiser perspective, but I use these tools almost every day. And while I consider myself to be a pretty tech savvy individual, I've always found that the privacy and security features on these tools tend to be pretty cumbersome and confusing. So if you do too, know that you're not alone. And that's why I'm here today, to speak with you all and to hopefully be a resource to you all moving forward. So Facebook, billions of people all over the world use Facebook to stay connected with friends and family. It's a great place for things like seeing pictures of your grandkids, getting recommendations on things, or discovering what's going on in your local community. Besides YouTube, Facebook is the most widely used social networking platform among US adults. And it's not just the younger generations that are on it. 50% of US adults 65 and older say they use Facebook. Because of this fact that so many people are on it, it's unfortunately a place where bad actors can go to obtain personal information in order to hack and scam people. So that fact might scare some people away from using Facebook, but there are some simple things that we can all do to make our experience on Facebook safer and therefore more enjoyable. So today we'll cover 3 areas. The first will be passwords, password safety. The second will be malicious links. And the third will be focused on privacy settings. So to control who can see your information and who can add you as a friend. Okay, so here are my tips for maintaining a strong password. First, the longer, the better. At least 12 characters long is ideal. At least 1 symbol, caps, or number is also ideal. And it's good to avoid using consecutive numbers. So like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, it's a great idea to use a random nonsense phrase or an inside joke, something that you have in your head, but would be really difficult for your average Joe to think of or come up with on their own. Things like nicknames, song lyrics or sayings, things that you say to yourself all the time or things that you say within your household. A couple examples of these I have listed below. Mouse in the house, 13 pound, crazy train ride. These are things that I might see written down and would immediately recognize, oh yeah, that's something that I say all the time, or that's a song we play in our house a lot. But it's, and it's multiple words strung together, but it's not something that could be easily guessed or thought of by a third party. It would be a good idea to consider replacing random letters with symbols and or numbers. So you could replace the letter A with an @ symbol or an exclamation point for the letter I, or even a 3 for letter E. A couple examples of these below. Paperboy's 9, I replaced the A with an @ symbol. Or pizza for dinner, I replaced the I in pizza with an exclamation point. And instead of spelling out the number 4, or the letter 4, I put the number 4 instead. Don't use obvious personal info in your password. So avoid using a pet's name, a relative's name, a birthday, anniversary, address, or phone number. That being said, as I said before, you could use a nickname, or something that makes you think of a relative, or something that describes them. That's all fine. Just avoid using words or phrases that could easily be found about you. And then last, this is tricky, and I'm guilty of it, but try not to reuse passwords across different social media sites and or other sites that you are logging into. If you have passwords written down, say on a notebook or a Post-it note, try to keep that out of plain sight, so not just out on a desk. Try and put it away in a drawer or in a notebook, hidden somewhere if you can. It's a good idea, and again, I'm guilty of not doing this, but I try to do better, is to change your passwords regularly, ideally every 4 months, especially for Facebook and other social media sites. Now, those things might sound cumbersome, like a lot of work to do. So one thing I would recommend would be to download a password manager tool. It's a tool that you can download onto your computer where you can log in with a master password, and you can maintain and keep up with all of your different passwords across any social media site or site that you log into on a regular basis. I use a tool called Dashlane that I really like. If this is something that's of interest to you, let us know. Maybe it's something I could touch on in a future tech tutor class, or it's something you could talk to your tech tutor about if it's of interest to you. But I definitely recommend it. Okay, so everything I just shared with you, we're going to put you to the test. We're going to play a game. Hope you guys are ready for a game. I'm going to give you some multiple choice options, and if you would like to type in the chat, which password do you think is the best? Okay, let's do it. A, B, C, or D? I'll give you 10 seconds. I see some coming through. Okay. If you guessed D, good job. Can't Buy Me Love is a great password because it strings together multiple words, but it's still short and succinct. And it's a song lyric that, comes to my mind pretty easily. It replaces a letter with a symbol. It has a capitalization and a number. Option A, unfortunately, password 1234 is a very commonly used password. I would highly recommend not using that as your password because it is oftentimes the first option that a hacker will guess if they're trying to hack into your account. So don't use A. Option B, my brother's name is Daniel. So again, try not to use first names of close relatives. C is not a bad option, but again, D would be the ideal. Okay, one more time. You can go ahead and type in the chat, which password do you think is the best? See some more coming through. Give you a couple more seconds. Okay. If you guessed B, great job. Ready for lunch, 59 exclamation point is a good password. It's, again, stringing together a few words, multiple words, into a phrase that is, again, easy to kind of recall and remember, but it's just super random. It's not something that anyone would easily be able to guess if they're trying to guess, a password. Option A is a location and it has consecutive numbers in it, so that's not great. Option C, I graduated from Mizzou in 2008, so that would, and those are pieces of information that could easily be found about me, so not a good password. And then option D is an address. So while it's good in that it has a caps, a number, and a symbol, would be a good idea to avoid if you can. Great job, guys. Okay, so moving on to the next section. Avoiding malicious links. Cyber criminals can use links shared on social media sites to steal personal information. Malicious links can show up in the newsfeed, but they're oftentimes found in Facebook Messenger, which is where users can send and receive private messages. The goals with these links are that they're either trying to get you to enter in your personal information by taking you to a landing page where you think maybe you're getting a coupon or a discount on something, but really you're giving out your personal information. Or they would be trying to download malware on your computer that would allow them to access your computer files, which would be equally bad. Here are some examples of malicious links on Facebook. You can see someone saying, this video belongs to you. If you were to see something like that, you might get kind of nervous, like, oh my gosh, there's a video of me out there. I need to see what it is. So that's one example where someone's posting that they got themselves $500 gift card to Macy's. And then they post a link. And then the last one is, hey, I think you're going to like, maybe you get a message from a friend, someone hey, I think you'll like this. Sending this to my close friends. You got to check it out. Like, you're in the know if you do this. So all things that are, again, trying to get you to click. So here are some tips on how to spot a bad link. It might have some misspellings in it or poor grammar. Going to have probably a sense of urgency, like you need to do this right now or else. That makes you kind of nervous. Use of all caps or a lot of exclamation points, like this is so exciting. Use of a shortened or unfamiliar URL, which is a web address. Now, sometimes you'll see something where a tool people use is a link shortening tool called Bitly, where they will take a URL, plug it into this tool, and then it'll churn out a shortened link, but then you can't see where the link is going once you click on it. It doesn't show the full website address. So that's kind of a trick that, that can be used, and that's not good. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And if it sounds really bad, like something you need to address right away, it probably isn't. And then some tips on how to spot a good link. A good link would have a recognizable website URL. So kind of what I just talked about. It would list out either a publisher or a retailer, or a site that you would just recognize. Maybe it's a brand. You would recognize that website address. The URL would ideally begin with HTTPS // That signifies that it's a secure website. And last, Facebook recently launched a great new feature called the info button. When someone shares a link that goes off-site on Facebook now, you can, if it has this little info button on it, you can click on it. I've kind of highlighted what it looks like. It's a circle with an eye inside of it, and it's in the corner of the link on Facebook. And if you click on that, it'll give you more information about that link. So I'll show you an example of that on the next slide. Okay, so another game, and you can just kind of think to yourself, no need to type in the chat. If you want to, you can. To click or not to click? Let's begin. Okay, so someone posted in a group who has recommendations on a company to reseal granite countertops. This is, again, a very commonly used aspect of Facebook, getting recommendations. Someone posted a link to a site. You can see the link has HTTPS in it, which is a good sign. It also has this little eye in the corner, which is also a good sign. So I'll show you when you click on that eye, it gives you a little bit more information about this website. You can see, okay, Bob Villa has a Facebook page. He's an American home improvement television show host. So he seems pretty legit. And you can see that the site has been around for more than 10 years. So clearly this is a legitimate website that people reference to get more information. So that's great. So yes, I would say this is a safe link to click on after that assessment. Okay, to click or not to click? Hopefully you all will say, don't click. This, you can see there's the HTTP, which is a little misleading. It doesn't have the S in there, but it's a bit.ly link. So it was a shortened link. So I have no clue where this is taking me. Maybe they're calling my name out. Maybe this even came from a close friend of mine who got hacked and sent this message out to all their friends, hoping that they will also get their accounts hacked. This is a very common thing that happens on Facebook, unfortunately. But if you were to see a link like this, you should immediately know not to click on it because you can't see where it's taking you. And there's the frowny emoji, and it's meant to make you nervous, which should be a sign that it's not right. Okay, and last, here's a link to an article on a publisher site. There's a nice image in it, which is great. And you can see the URL listed is saucemagazine.com. You can see that above the headline. That to me that's a recognizable website. I've heard of it. But you can also see there's an info button, so that's great. It's kind of small. I know that might be kind of tricky to see, but if you click on that white info button, you'll see, okay, Sauce Magazine, they have a Facebook page I could follow, and here's some other examples of articles that have been shared from Sauce Magazine. So again, I can tell this is a legitimate website, and I can see what types of content has been shared from this website. So this to me says it would be an okay link to click. So hopefully that was helpful. My last section for today is called the Facebook Privacy Checkup. So Facebook also recently came out with a great new feature called the Privacy Checkup. where they give you specific but simple step-by-step instructions on how to adjust your privacy settings. So they've made great strides in making this process easier than it used to be, which I appreciate. I will be sending out a handout after class that will give you step-by-step instructions on how to access Facebook's privacy checkup from both a desktop and mobile device. So you can go and do this on your own whenever you're ready. But in these next few slides, I'll be giving you some tips on how to think about and or approach your privacy settings, and just a few adjustments that I would recommend making if you haven't already. So the first thing that you can do in the privacy checkup is you can adjust who can see what you post on your Facebook. And I would highly, highly recommend you set this to just friends. This is a really important step towards keeping your Facebook a safe and secure environment. Really, the only reason someone should have their account set to public, where anyone could see it, is if you're a celebrity or a public figure, or you're trying to promote something or your business. But for the most part, most people should just keep this to just friends. And then even once you set this to just friends, I would still recommend making sure that you avoid listing any personally identifiable information on your Facebook page, such as your email, your phone number, or your home address. I would also recommend, if you're going on a trip, that you wait to post your travel photos until you get home. This is just to be extra, extra, extra cautious, but it's a good practice. And then last, friend requests. So this is another thing you can adjust in your privacy settings. And my recommendation to you all is to set this to friends of friends. So just like in real life, it's a lot safer when you meet you typically meet people through other people that you already know, through a shared personal connection. And with Facebook, it's no different. It's definitely ideal to make sure that, you know, the people who are sending you friend requests, trying to connect with you, are people that are already somewhat within your network. Again, I've provided instructions on how to get to this in your handout. Do not accept a friend request if you don't know the person. Also, don't accept a friend request if you are already friends with the person. So say you're getting a friend request from a close family member or a friend, and you know you're already friends with them. That's kind of a red flag that maybe that person got hacked or someone created a fake account. Sadly, that happens sometimes, but just be kind of wary of that. And then last, my recommendation to you all is that it's okay to be selective in who you accept as a friend. Facebook should be a fun and safe and enjoyable experience for all. So if someone sends you a friend request and you know the person, but maybe not that well, but you just don't feel comfortable having them see what you post, it's okay not to accept the friend request. They won't be notified. Truly, it's not a big deal, even though it might seem like you're maybe snubbing them. It's truly, social media should be all about, you know, making sure it's enjoyable and safe for you. So, you know, that's just my personal recommendation to ensure that it's, again, a more safe and comfortable environment online. That is all the content that I had to share with you all today. I know I went through that, hopefully not too fast, but I would love to kind of open it up to questions if there are any. But I'm also super interested in knowing what else you guys are interested in learning about as it relates to social media. And there's so many different areas or topics that could be covered as it relates to social media. I only covered a couple today. So if there are other social platforms you're interested in learning more about, or other aspects of Facebook, or maybe more of the fun stuff, I know this was kind of the serious stuff. I would just love to, kind of open it up and hear from you all. If you have any other questions or, topics that you're interested in.
Jessica, this is Judy. A couple came through the chat, and
Oh,
Barb would
great.
like to know, do you know if you've been hacked? That was her question.
So you probably won't get notified right away, but what I do see tends to happen is, and I've seen this happen, if I maybe get a direct message from a family member and I can tell that they've been hacked, I'll maybe send them a text or an email saying, hey, looks like you've been hacked. So you might hear from someone else that you're friends with that maybe got a bad message from you. So you'll probably hear through the grapevine like pretty quickly, but Facebook unfortunately won't notify you right away.
Maxine Mirowitz has a question.
Hi.
Hey.
I loved your presentation.
Thank you.
And I, as you well know, have avoided the FB major in my life. And I just got a notification from Messenger, and it said to install a new updated version. And I did. And about 26, maybe 30 notes came coming through. And I wonder if I should have just never done that because I never use Messenger, or should we keep Messenger on? And is it legit? Could I reply to those poor people who probably reached out to me over the last, 20 years?
Yeah, I don't really use Messenger too often either. But I know a lot of people do. But unfortunately, yes, it is typically where a lot of the kind of bad malicious links are shared. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, you updated it and then you got notifications from messages that maybe someone's tried to send you years ago. That's happened to me too. Honestly, if someone really wanted to get in touch with you, they would find another way to get in touch with you. So if it's not the primary way that you're communicating with, friends and family, that's fine. You can't be everywhere at once, pick and choose what makes the most sense for you. And I wouldn't feel bad about all those notes that maybe you missed from friends. If you want to go read through them, you definitely can. But I'm sure those are all hopefully mostly legit. Maybe there are some bad messages in there too, like some of your friends might have gotten hacked. So be careful about some of the links if you see anything bad in there.
Harriet would like to know, what is phish or fish? The spelling PHISH. You can see it on the Messenger,
Phishing.
I think. Yeah, the phishing sort of thing,
Yeah, that's kind of what I talked about with the malicious links. It's also called phishing with a PHISH. It's just another terminology for that subject, where someone's trying to get you to click on a link, either to install malware on your computer or to get you to, maybe you think you're, typing something in to get access, early access to something or a coupon, but you're actually filling out a form on a bad website that is then taking your personal information that you shared and using it in a negative way. So that's what phishing is.
And then Harriet also wondered, isn't Messenger more or less private to the person you are directing it to?
It is. So it can be a great way. I use Messenger every now and then, and it is a good way to share private messages with other people. You can also send messages you can have, group chats or group messages. So you can include a few other people. But yes, it is private. But you can also, you can use that, or you could use text or email. It's kind of whatever you prefer. typically if someone doesn't maybe have your phone number or have your email, they might try and reach out to you through Facebook. Because again, so many people are on Facebook.
I have found, Jessica, that that's where I see that phishing coming through more than
Yeah.
on just general Facebook.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you said, oh, look at this video I found of you, and it's like they wouldn't have a video of me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of crazy, but that's where it comes through. I see it coming through. And I don't
Yes.
use Messenger much. There's like one person or two people out of my friends that I actually communicate that way with. So if it's somebody unusual, it's like, oh, that's another red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, again, so many people are on Facebook. So if there's someone that you're like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so in so long, I lost their phone number, Messenger might be a good way to get in contact with them. And I think that's fine. But yes, it is a place where you do tend to see most of the bad links being shared. Like if someone gets hacked, they're probably then going to send that bad link out to all of their friends via private message, Facebook Messenger. So, there are other great ways to stay connected. And there are other good use cases for Facebook. In my opinion, better use cases for Facebook, which are, getting recommendations on things, finding groups or communities that are of interest to you.
I have another question about that little information tag that you showed on the on your presentation.
Yeah.
So is that on whenever there's a HTTPS, and the HTTPS is also like with the S on it is security, correct?
Correct. The S means it's secure.
And so the I is that now a regular show event that Facebook is showing on
I'm seeing
any
it.
link?
Yeah, I'm seeing it a lot more. I'm seeing it on anything that's linking out. So anything that's linking off of Facebook, that's typically where you will see that little I. And I'm seeing it more and more. Honestly, when I started working on the content for this class, that didn't exist. It was launched in like the last month or so. So I give them credit in that they're trying to come out with new features to make the experience better and to make it safer, which is great. But yeah, that I'm seeing that a lot more now. And once you see it, then I think you start seeing it more and more. Like it's pretty small, kind of hard to see. But yeah, once you do see it, then you'll notice it a lot more.
That's great. That's because it really is helpful to know, you can check out the website.
Yes. I think another purpose of it was to kind of help validate, not only is it a safe link, but is it a legitimate website? Because there's a lot of issues that we all probably read about on the news with, fake articles being shared on social media. So that is also a way to tell maybe the legitimacy of the news source that you're seeing an article posted from.
So do we have other questions today? We have a couple of comments everybody's liked. Harriet says, is there a way to contact Facebook in some way if you are having a problem or need to reset their password or check on hacking?
There is a help section. Sometimes you can hover over a post and you can there are different options that you can kind of send information back to Facebook. Like if you see a post and it's something you don't like the content of the post, maybe it's an ad, you can say, I don't like this. Why am I seeing this? It's hard to get directly in contact with them, but there are ways to get help if you need it. They do have a really broad help section. I can, kind of go in and maybe find some links to share with you all that I think are helpful, maybe within the help section, because again, it can be overwhelming how much there is to sort through on Facebook. But if that would be helpful, I can try and dig up some helpful links for what to do if you suspect you've been hacked. That would be a good kind of next step I can do for you all.
Oh, great. Because
Yeah.
Susan asked that question too. What should you do if you are hacked? And maybe that would be helpful if you have other suggestions that you could include in what
Yeah.
should you do if you are hacked. So
Yeah. I do know that it's recommended that you change your password immediately. And then if you use that password elsewhere, that you should change your password immediately on any other site. And that's why it's really important to, again, going back to the passwords, to use a different password on every single site that you use, which I know can be overwhelming and sounds difficult, like a lot of work. So again, a password manager tool can help with that. The password manager tool that I use that I mentioned, they will actually send notifications out if maybe there was a large hacking that occurred at a website, maybe something you might read about in the news, like, oh my gosh, this bank or this platform got hacked. They'll actually send you an email. They'll send you a notification. So you can go in as quickly as you can and change your password. Really, that is the first step, is, as fast as you can, change your password. And so, yeah.
let's see, we have a couple more. Shirley has asked, she said, I have found that I've been asked to fill out a survey and often feel uncomfortable with that.
Yep. I can see why, because yeah, that is one tactic that hackers use to get you to share your personal information with them. So, if there are some legitimate, survey websites, but if you're uncomfortable with it, don't do it. A survey is kind of, doing a favor for someone else typically. If it's shared directly with you from that person who is, like, hey, I need your help with something, I'm working on a research study, and the person, and, then I think it's fine. But if you're seeing something on Facebook, you don't know, and it maybe seems like they're, trying to get your information for not so good purposes, I would just not do it.
Wonderful suggestions and recommendations. Jen would like to know, how does Purina use Facebook for marketing?
That is a great question. So Purina has a number of different brands. Jen had mentioned Friskies, Tidy Cats, Dog Chow, Cat Chow, Pro Plan. So those are big, huge brands that are sold in PetSmart or on Amazon or Chewy. So a lot of the campaigns that we launch on Facebook are trying to we're kind of using Facebook like marketers use TV, where we're trying to get as many eyeballs as possible to as many of the most relevant people as we possibly can. So pet owners, cat owners, dog owners. You'll typically see video content. So yeah, a lot of Purina ads are just about getting eyeballs, making sure people are aware of our products and offerings, or maybe new offerings, new product lines. And sometimes they'll also use it to maybe promote coupons or deals that we have. Or we'll link directly to, like, oh, you can check this out on chewy.com, or, we'll link to where you can buy the product. So, yeah. Great question.
So do we have other questions today? Well, thank you so much, Jessica. And Jen, did you have anything else you would like to say this afternoon?
I just want to say thank you, Jessica. You've given us a wealth of information, and
You're welcome.
I know it's a lot to process. So Jessica is going to have a handout sent to all of you through your email account. So you'll be able to take a look at it. And Jessica's here to support us. So if there's any other programming that you think would be helpful after you've had a chance to think a little bit about it, we are more than happy at the Mirowitz Center and the Tech Tutor program to set up another class with Jessica. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thanks for the
Thank you,
opportunity.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And thank you, everyone. And I am sure there'll be another one, hopefully with another topic that would
Yep.
be interesting. That sounds great. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good afternoon.